What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. Today we're going to be talking about something very important, and that is how to leave the gang life. Is it even possible? People ask this question all the time. Well, I'm about to break it down for you the best that I can, alright? There's a lot of factors in play when it comes to leaving the gang life. Are you gang banging in prison? Are you in prison trying to leave a gang? I strongly recommend that you do not try to leave the gang while you're in the penitentiary. The gang life in the penitentiary system is totally different than the street life. It's much more closed, confined. You can't escape it. If you are locked into that system, I recommend you not even think about leaving the gang life. Or go to PC. If you really want to leave, go to PC and try to stay in there as long as possible. But if you are trying to leave that life while you're incarcerated, man, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have some big problems. The gang activities in prison are totally different and much more legit than out here in the streets. That's just for the prison aspect. I recommend you just sticking with it, riding it out until you leave the penitentiary, and then you can possibly leave the area, because that is key to leaving the gang life, okay? That is key, for real. You might have to pack up all your stuff, everything that you have, even if you ain't got the money to do so. If you are really caught up in that gang activity and people are trying to get you to go murder people, you are seriously going to have to pack up all your stuff and leave the whole freaking state or the area. Go all the way to the other side of the state. Something along those lines. I'm telling you that right now. That is one of the major factors when it comes into leaving the gang life, is packing up and moving. And you can't do that in prison unless you go to PC, all right? Or maybe go to another penitentiary. You know, it just depends. But for real, you can't leave that gang life when you're in the penitentiary. They're going to shank you up, beat you up, whatever the case is. Because most of the time, when you join a gang, it is for life. That's all there is to it. Now, a lot of people, they you know, some of the lower class gangs, you know, they're repping major names like Bloods, Crips, and stuff like that. But for real, they're half and half. They're half and half because, you know, they rock the colors. They got the mob, they got the numbers, but they're not really putting in work. They're not really out there killing people. It's usually in like low populated cities and stuff like that, where they're not really legit. They got the history and the knowledge, but they're not really legit. These gangs typically will jump you out. You know what I mean? They'll beat you up before you leave. And this initiation will be much worse. This beating will be much worse than when you got jumped in. Okay? They're out there to hurt you. They don't really want to see you leave. But some of these lower class gangs and stuff like that ain't really about that life, they'll jump you out. I've even heard of people getting blessed out from OGs and stuff like that. But look, check it out. Those are probably the easier ones to leave, you know. Now you got these other gangs that are really legit. They are legit. That is their life. Their children are born into it, okay? That is their bread and meat. If they don't win, they don't eat. You know what I mean? I used to say that all the time in the penitentiary. I haven't said that phrase in a long time. But check it out. These gangs are very tricky, okay? You got to realize there's people that are putting in work. We're talking about the official gangs on the street. How do you leave them, okay? It's really hard. Number one factor is to just pick up and leave. Leave the state altogether. And if you got gang-affiliated tattoos, man, you better get rid of them. Get them removed. Because you never know when you go back to the penitentiary. You never know who you're going to see on the streets, man. I've been on the boardwalk over here in Virginia Beach, and I've been G-checked at least 3 or 4 times. Walking out there with my shirt off. Homies think I'm part of some clique, you know what I mean? G-checking me right there on the spot. That's another story for another day. But check it out. These really official gangs, you know, where you're in there for life, okay? Like I said, best way to leave them janks is to pack your bags and get the hell out of town, for real. Now, the next way to leave, you know, there's different ranks and levels in gang life. There's a lot of foot soldiers, and these foot soldiers get overlooked because there's so many. There's a saying, for every one gang member that leaves, another 10 is joining. Okay, so check it out. There's so many foot soldiers out there. So many. So the less work that you've done, it'll be easier for you to leave, because you're going to go unnoticed by them OGs and other gang members. You might just could leave and go to a whole nother town, but at the same time, it's going to be easier for you to leave because no one really knows you. They've never really heard of you. You know what I mean? But you did get affiliated with them at one point, you know? There's these other guys that can go both ways for them. These guys are well known. The OGs are starting to see them. They're like, okay, this dude is legit. He is following my every command. He is working his way up in the ranks. Okay? Now, it's all eyes on you. Everyone's heard of you. Everyone's like, stay away from him. It's very hard for that type of gang member to leave. Okay? Because they are well known. You can't fly under the radar no more. Everyone's going to know who you are. They're going to be giving you orders left and right, and you are going to be completing them because you are legit. And then one day you might wake up and say, hey, I don't want to do it no more. It's going to be so hard for that person to leave because he is in the mix, you know. Everyone's going to know exactly who he is and what he's about. But it could go another way with this guy. He's put in so much work that he could literally go up to the OG himself and say, hey, man, out of pure respect, you know, he's getting older, he's getting wiser. He's like, hey, I want to quit this lifestyle. I'm done. Okay? He'll roll up under OG and be like, hey, man, look, I'm done with this, man, for real. I'm trying to get out of this life. You know, I got grandkids, stuff like that. And the OG, man, believe it or not, this guy's like a father. He's like a father to all of these gang members. He's a father. He's wise. The OGs are typically a little older, wiser. They deal with principles and respect. And when they get walked up on by someone that's put in years and years worth of work, okay, and followed their every command, it's kind of like the movie John Wick. John Wick, man, he killed thousands of people for this Russian dude, and then, you know, he pretty much got his way out of the game by following all the dude's orders. The guy gave him one final order that was pretty much impossible, but old John Wick did. And he completed it, and he went on and lived his own life, you know. Same way it goes for these, for the gang life, for real. It really does happen like this, man. People that put in all that work, they can actually get retired from the game peacefully through the OG. That is what it is. But that's about all there is to it, you know. It just depends on where you're at, what kind of gang you're running with. Have you put in enough work? Sometimes you guys show your loyalty enough and put in tons of work in order to leave the gang, and sometimes you're just going to have to pack your freaking bags and leave the whole area. Remove all gang tattoos. That is key, okay? Stop doing criminal activities. If you think you're going to be going back to the penitentiary, man, you better get rid of those gang affiliation tattoos before you go in, okay? I mean, you never know what could happen. And if you're in the penitentiary, I strongly recommend you either go to PC, check in your whole bid, or you ride it out. You ride it out with that gang life until you leave the penitentiary and hit the streets. Then you can disperse and really get away from it. You know what I mean? Other than that, there's really no way to leave the gang life. You're either going to be slumped up in the corner, you know, dead, or they're going to beat the hell out of you. It just depends. But when these guys, you got to realize a lot of these gang members, man, they're playing for keeps. Okay, for real. They are playing for keeps as their life. That is how they make a living. That is their career. Their family, their sons, their great-grandsons are going to be affiliated with this gang. They are born into it. That is their life. And these other gangs, they're just a little fugazi. They're just freaking going around with their colors and stuff and not worried about much because they're in a town or city that ain't really populated or not really legit. It doesn't really matter. Ain't nothing really popping off. Those places you could pretty much go in and out the gang life. It all depends. It all depends. Now let's leave the gang life and head over to GRIZZY's world, okay? Let me give you all an update on GRIZZY really quick. He has left Chesapeake City Jail. He is in Hampton Roads Regional Jail, and I will leave the information for y'all to write him, canteen, whatever the case is. But I've got some other great news for y'all. Oh, and check this out. Chesapeake Jail, they didn't allow cards. They don't allow you to send pictures, not even of your family. But Hampton Roads Regional, where he's at now, you can send him cards. You can send him pictures. Whatever you want to send him, you know, you can send them when it comes to cards and pictures and stuff like that. But Chesapeake City Jail, if you sent him a card or pictures, he wasn't going to get it. So it's probably being returned back to you. But I will leave the information for you to write him in the description of this video, as well as his canteen and whatever else you might want to contribute to him. But check it out. This is the news on GRIZZY. It's good news, great news. He's been blessed, okay? He went back to jail on his 4th violation, absconding and or leaving probation, just leaving. You know what I mean? And he got caught up with 2 charges while he was on the run. 2 charges. It was called giving false information to a police officer. He said to the cop his name was Victor. Victor. I was like, bro, is that your alias for real? You think you look like a Victor? But anyways, yeah, he gave false information to the police officer, and he had possession of marijuana, which was like a half a blunt. Can you believe that? They found a half a blunt near the passenger seat of the car, and they charged him with it. Now, he went to court Thursday last week. The unbelievable happened, okay? He was found not guilty for both charges, okay? But check it out. Since his rules of probation were, if in the state of Virginia, they go by a point system. If you catch fresh charges on your 4th violation, okay, there is no guidelines. If you're found guilty for any kind of charges, there's no guidelines. So they were trying to give him the max, which is 11 years if he was found guilty. All right? But he beat the charges. So it's a whole new ballgame. He beat the charges. It's absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to wait for him to call me, and I'll record it and let you hear how he beat him. The police officer came in there saying that he did stuff illegally. Or not illegally, but he didn't do it the right way, so there's no way the charges can hold up in court. The officer literally came in and said that. So he won it on a loophole. But the officer didn't have to say that. He could have went with the charges and made his attorney fight for it. You know what I mean? And but he didn't. And it was very strange indeed. And I'll let him tell the story better when I record the next phone call that I talked to him. But he beat the charges. So now it's a different ball game, and now he is facing a minimal of 10 months to 2 years. Okay, 10 months to 2 years is his guidelines. But of course, the judge could still go above his guidelines or under. Okay, but if he was found guilty for those charges, there wouldn't have been no guidelines. Okay, he would have gotten like 11 piece, for real, straight up. You know, but in all actuality, the judge has the power to do whatever the hell he pleases. You know what I mean? But with him beating these charges, it's a big victory for him. Okay, and it is the first charges he's ever beat. You know, I was like, man, I know you felt good. I mean, you ain't never beat no charge before. He's like, hell nah, you know. But look, it is a big W for Griswold. He won, and his chances of getting out a lot sooner have greatly increased. Okay, and I think he's gonna be blessed for real. I think this is a rude awakening for him, because he was, getting closer to changing his life out here. Even though he was on the run, I could sense a different Grizzy. Not as ruthless as he used to be, like me. And he was maturing and growing up a little bit, and actually listening to some of the stuff I had to say when I talked to him about, look, you gotta leave that stuff behind you. And he told me something on the phone the other day. He said, look, Josh, man, listen, man, I love you, dog. And I'm telling you this straight up. And I've never heard him say this to me in my life. He said, I'm done, man. He said, when I get out this time, I ain't doing none of that stuff. I ain't doing nothing. I'm even gonna quit smoking bud. I said, man, that's crazy. I ain't never heard Grizzy say that in my life. You know what I mean? This was a very big awakening for him, okay? It's opened his eyes. They were trying to give him 11 years for a simple possession of marijuana and telling the police that his name was Victor, okay? He understands that these people are not playing, they are playing for keeps, my friends, okay? You keep playing with the system, you keep violating your probation, they will lock you up until your probation is done, or you got gray hair and realize, there's no more of this life left to live. They will break you. And he's seeing it, He's seeing it. He did a lot of time just like me, but it was always like 4 years, 3 years, 2 years at a time. It wasn't never a stretch, okay, a long stretch. We would get out for about 6-7 months to a year and then go right back in. We were both doing the same thing, going in and out, in and out. And this time, last time that I was in there, it broke me. And I'm never going back again. I'm off probation. And I think that Grizzy is at that point in his life now as well. I truly believe it. But yes, that is a great information for y'all. Everyone that supports him and likes him, he is a good person for real. Even though he eats potato chips, sucks on his fingers and stuff, smacks all the time. It's crazy, man. But I love him, man. I've known him forever, and he is a really good person. He has a good heart, and that is the truth. So don't forget to write him letters. I tell you right now, man, those letters mean a lot. His information will be in the description of this video. And one more thing before I go. If you happen to leave safely, or you think you've left that gang life safely, remember, always watch your back, man. Always be looking behind your shoulder, because for real, you can't never be guaranteed 100% that you are safely out of that gang, especially if you're still repping those gang tattoos. You know what I mean? Until the next time, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to write Grizzy. Check out the links in the description of the video. Go buy some merchandise. Add me up on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I'm gaming all the time on Twitch, man. I hope to see y'all there. And also check out the Patreon. I got a lot of videos up there that I try to upload some crazy videos. You know what I mean? And until the next time, man, I hope you all have a blessed and safe day. And if you are living that gang life, I hope the good Lord above protects your every movement, man. For real. I salute to every last one of y'all.